Hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live again on Friday evening, and a very beautiful evening it is here in southern British Columbia, in Canada. We are continuing part two of the broadcast I started at lunchtime today. But life got in the way. Right in the middle of it, I realized that my power cord wasn't in, and therefore my battery was dying. When I went to plug in my power cord, it nuked something on my computer. So I'm hoping that people can hear me today because I could not get back to be able to finish the broadcast. So what I decided to do was to finish it this evening. And I'm hoping that. Um, Hi there, Isabel. Hi, can you hear me? You know, After what happened at lunchtime, I need to just make sure that you can actually hear me now. Um, so waiting patiently on that answer. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you, Isabel. That's good to hear. All right, so we were talking about at lunchtime, we were talking about boundaries and we were talking about pacing and also about letting go. You had time to re-watch it. Oh, and it was super nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Isabel. I hope it made some sense to you. A lot has happened to me since since lunchtime, and so we're going to be continuing not only on my journey but also your journey and Jodie's journey. And Lauren has allowed me to tell a bit more about her journey as well. So just hopefully that it will help everybody. So between the broadcast, after the broadcast finished, I was feeling a bit, um, as you can probably imagine, a little bit down because, the broadcast didn't end the way I wanted it to. And yeah, that lost control of that. Thank you for the comment about the lipstick. I think it's L'Oreal. I can't remember. It's one of the ones that Judy gave me. Anyway, so this I was feeling a bit down. Can you imagine that? The broadcast didn't finish the way I wanted it to. It wasn't, the normal stuff. And then I actually gave myself time to have something to eat and just to relax a bit and take it easy hi there, Nana, before I started anything else. And then once I'd had something to eat and calmed down a bit and just, was in a better space, I went back to the trailer just in time to meet the guy who put the sign up on my lawn to say, my home is now officially for sale. Now, I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but there's this sort of whole process of getting this far that's taken a long time, as you all know, but it took as long as it took. And now suddenly the sign is up on my lawn. Can any of you imagine that feeling? I'm sure that Nana can because she's had it happen. She's done that, and anybody else who might have sold a property. But I want to tell you that it was the most strange feeling. It's the only way I can say it. I just sort of went. I tried to make it. I tried to make it lighter. I said to the guy putting up the sign, "Hey, well, the name on the sign is this." The name of the person who sold me the house, so I know that they know all about it and know all the good stuff about it. The other thing was, oh, thanks, Nana. You were worried because of the emotion. Yeah, it is incredibly emotional. Yeah, and thanks, Aaron. It's good to see you. So it's like suddenly there's this sign, waving in the wind on my lawn saying for sale. And it's just the good news is the good news is there are a couple of houses on my street that are for sale. And the good news is every one that's for sale is twice as expensive as mine. They're not any bigger than mine necessarily, but they're twice as expensive. How many of you know that's a good thing? Because mine's a half duplex, it's not a standalone, and they've got more ground than I have. But this is like It's going to be really great for the realtor to be able to show them the other houses and say, hey, if this is a bit out of your league, I've got the perfect place for you, and it's just here. And of course, Nana, did you get the pictures that I sent? Did you get the link? I sent you the link so you can see all the pictures of the inside of my house. And I'm going to put some up on the Facebook page, but I really did want Nana to have them because she has been so patient. So nice, really. Thank you. It was funny because Jodi's reaction to it was, it looks so organized. And I went, all my life, I wanted somebody to be able to say that. Hi, Sharon. So anyway, so then I went into the trailer. After I'd got sort of used to the sign on my lawn, I went into my trailer and I realized I had done a better job than I thought I had. And basically, now it was a case of getting the last bits out. And, because it's going to a homeless person, I have had all sorts of interesting decisions to make. I started to take all the books and I was going to, put those into the donate book file box. And then I thought, why would I take these books out? They're good books. Maybe the homeless person likes to read. So I decided I would leave the books in and just tell him, if you want to throw them out, that's great, but I thought I'd leave them for you to read. There were all sorts of things that I found. And, the choice was, do I throw it out? And I went, no. And, I had 2 lots of bedding in there. And I thought, well, hang on a second. It's got 2 gaucho couches. Maybe he's going to share this with somebody. Well, Erin, yes, that's what I'm thinking as well. When they see the prices of the other houses, mine's going to look like an absolute deal. You're right, because it actually, I'm amazed. I have to say, Erin, when I looked at the pictures of my own home, I sort of looked at them and went, wow, that's a nice home. And then I remembered what a nice home it was. So, it was quite an interesting reaction for me. Yes, I like the idea of it going to a homeless person as well, Sharon. That's why it's made a lot of the decisions, like all the pots and pans and things. I went, well, they're staying. All the plates, cups, saucers, glasses, they're staying. I took out the damask tablecloth. I had a feeling that the incoming tenant probably would not appreciate a damask tablecloth, and I still do. Of course, I got to be the only person that goes camping with a damask tablecloth. Do anybody not know what a damask tablecloth is? I'm what they call a glamper. The other thing was my neighbors actually asked if they could see inside the trailer the other day, and I opened it up for them. And the wife walked in and went, oh my God, it is beautiful. And I went, it was an absolute mess. And I said, beautiful? And she said, it smells so clean and the colors are so nice. And I'm going, and this is a total mess. And that's your reaction to it. And she said, oh yeah, it's really nice. And I said, wait until you see the bathroom. I've got the only camper that has got a double wardrobe in the bathroom and a bathtub. Well, bye-bye bathtub. Those sort of things. And 2 facing couches where 2 people can lie down and read a book and talk to each other with a coffee table in between. I mean, like, hello, what's not to love? Oh, all right. So a couple of, for those of you who might not know that tune into this, damask is a type of linen. And it is very high quality. And when you when you wash it and let it dry or iron it, it is so crisp and so beautiful. And so whenever I went camping, I would have my damask tablecloth, with the candles and stuff. And people used to say to me, who goes camping with a white tablecloth? I go, I do. But some of you are not surprised, right? So anyway, So that was one part of it. I found that I took, um, let me tell you what the struggle was. Some stuff I just threw into boxes and took them straight to the garage because I had to remind myself I do not have to sort these out. I just have to get them out of the trailer. Do you all understand my thinking here? It was like, if you don't want to throw it away, throw it in a box. You've got the rest of your life to sort through this if you need to. Just don't give yourself that stress. You can do a little bit every day during the week or whatever. You just need to get it out of the trailer today. So I did that. I found, now only Sal could do this. I found a book. I can imagine Nana doing this actually, and Jody too. But I found a book of instructions that I'd written for somebody who was borrowing the trailer. It said, welcome to tailor the trailer, and it's like 4 pages long. Tells you how to do everything. And I went, how perfect is that? I'm going to leave that for the incoming person. But I just couldn't take the last boxes out. There are 2 left, I think, or two containers of stuff that are in there. I couldn't take them out. I wonder if anybody can relate to that. It was just like, if I take those out, it's done. And I'm not ready to be done until maybe tomorrow. So I might just take those last 2 out tomorrow. I will go through it this evening with Yvonne one more time, just because Yvonne has different eyes, and she will see things that go, wait a minute, you're going to need that. So that's the one thing. The good news is I found some clothing that I'd been missing for a long time. Apparently that I packed them away carefully to go on a trip, and I forgot to take them out of there. So that was good. I didn't think that the incoming tenant was going to want them. So it's been a very emotional afternoon. And we're talking about boundaries, pacing, and letting go. So my boundary was, that is enough. The last 2 boxes are going to be very emotional for you. Why do it on your own? Why don't you do it with Yvonne next year? Because Yvonne will be your moral support. Plus, there's that legal document that I've got to fill in and sign, which is why I've asked Yvonne to come and help me this evening. I know it's pathetic, but that's how I do legal documents whenever I can. If there's a chance I can have Yvonne help me, then I do, because I just get too flustered with them. I'm so scared of making a mistake. Isn't it weird? And then the letting go. I tried to take the license plate off the back of the trailer. I undid one of the nuts. I cannot undo the other one. I tried. I broke. First of all, I did myself an owie. You can probably see there. Nasty owie. That's where I caught myself by accident. I broke a nail. Which nail? This nail. I broke a nail. And after that, it still wasn't loose. I went, this is beyond my ability. I need somebody to help me with this. So I just left it. And I've told Yvonne, in case Wade comes home, he might be able to remove it. If necessary, I'm going to bend it and bend it and bend it until it breaks and take it off that way. One side is okay, the other side isn't. So I've got enough leverage, if you like, that if necessary, I will just bend it and break it. And maybe that's against the law to break a license plate, even if I own it. I own it, right? I own that license plate. All right. But it'll get sorted out this evening. Now then, what I wanted to tell you, can any of you see that I've got, yeah, it's very hot. Can you see the heat rash I've got? It's way hot. I don't know what the temperature is here at the moment, but it really is very warm. It's over 80 in my house at the moment because I don't have air conditioning. But I wanted you to see the heat rash. And I don't know if I told you, but I found a really interesting way to calm down heat rash. And I don't know if any of you've got any home. I'm glad you've got air conditioning, Nana. That's very good. You must enjoy that. I'm certain everybody's got their own home recipes for heat rash. So if you've got any, let's hear them, and then I'll tell you what I did. But it was interesting because I thought, I can't believe that it's still spring and I've got a heat rash going on. And by the way, I woke up with it Friday to yesterday. Yeah, you still have between 0 and 5. That's metric. That's centigrade. That's round about 32 to 40. You know, so for those of you who only speak American, um, so I just wanted to say that I woke up with, I was just itching away, which, once you know itching, that's bad. And of course, the first thing everybody thinks about now is measles. Do I have measles? I'm going, Sal, you need to go out to get that. And by the way, you are vaccinated. And so, all right. So Nana's saying, I felt I got too much sun today. I was out for most of the day, which is the first for me, and I got sick. Yes, since you got sick. Well, congratulations on being able to get out. I'm certain that feels very much like freedom to you. All right, so here we go. What I found out about heat rash is that I didn't have any calamine lotion, which is what I grew up putting on, stuff like that. And did you know that talcum powder will calm it down? How about that one? Did anybody know that? I was, I really, let me try that. And so I did. And by the way, when I'd finished doing it, I went and then put it over my face because what a beautiful complexion with talcum powder, right? By the way, if you want slightly colored talcum powder, oh yes, use cornstarch is another one. Just put a bit of raw cocoa powder in there. Not not the hot chocolate powder. That's different, people. They say baby powder is not good for us. How can it not be good for us if it's good for babies? You better give me some more words around that, Nana. They tell us everything is not good for us. I was asking. Oh, I had my sleep apnea machine go in for a service this week as well, and one of the things that I noticed is they were cleaning it all down with what appeared to be a wet wipe. And I said, okay, I just need to know whether you used a special wet wipe. Was it antibacterial or, what was it? And they said, no, just a baby wipe's good. They don't use talcum powder on babies anymore because it causes cancer. Really? I have not heard that. But, Nana, I'm not going to say that you're wrong because I haven't researched it. But I certainly have not heard that. But, you have to be so careful, Nana, because it's a bit like, vaccinations cause autism. You have to be so aware of just because one person has one study that says it doesn't make it true. Oh, my daughter-in-law said it, but I heard it on TV too. So it must be. So it must be true if it was on TV, right? I mean, Mr. Trump's on TV all the time telling the truth. But it's interesting. I certainly will look into that. I must have. What I said was I hadn't ever heard that talcum powder causes cancer. So does breathing. But I thank you for the heads up, and I certainly. Talc is not a need. Talc or talc. Talcum powder is not a need. To some of us, it is a need, Nana. But yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, vaccinations are, there are two very strong schools of thought on this one. I personally had to have vaccinations, and I think there's a suit against Johnson & Johnson at the moment, really. That doesn't make it true. Do you understand? Just because somebody's suing them doesn't make it true. The doc said to use cornstarch, yes, which is what talcum powder is most of the time. All right? That is one of the ingredients. So All right, Nana, I didn't quite understand that sentence, but in the meantime, why take the chance? Why take the chance? Okay, I think I translated that. Why take the chance? Because I have quite a bit of talcum powder in my being. And it's like everything causes cancer. My attitude is, Nana, if I took out of my life everything that causes cancer, I probably would not have very much in my household. And I've got to say that, right? Whether it's margarine, whether it's butter, whether it's milk, whether it's like just almost everything has been labeled as being a carcinogenic at one time or another. And so to me, it's like I just go, obviously I am aware of certain things and I don't go with it. So coffee, no. Did they try coffee as well? That must have been a bit of research done by the tea people. You see, that's what you got to look at. I grew up hearing that margarine was better for you than butter, and it isn't. And yes, and oatmeal was the cure-all for everything, right? It probably also, oatmeal actually probably would have done really well on my heat rash as well. That's a good point. All right, so here we go. Let's have some quotes around letting go. And this is it. We can't be afraid of change. You may feel secure in the pond that you're in, but if you never venture out of it, you will never know there's such a thing as an ocean, a sea, anything. Holding on to something is good for you now. It may be the very reason why you don't have something better. There's a thought. Holding on to our norms today could be restricting us from getting anything better. How many of you going, oh, that's a good point. I never thought of that. So I'm definitely not going to be researching the trouble with coffee this week. I need coffee this week. And if it's going to cause cancer, then, so be it. Incredible change happens in your life when you decide to take control of what you do have power over instead of craving control over the things that you don't. This is a really big one for all of us. How many of you know, I was saying at lunchtime that the person that's trying to buy the trailer, twice this week has tried to change the conditions of the sale and everything else, and I refuse to get upset with it. I'm just going, okay, fine, I know what you're asking for, but no, the deal was you'd pick it up on Saturday, and I'll be ready lunchtime Saturday. No is a complete answer, people. Remember that. Oh, can I? And then yesterday, suddenly I got another email. Can I pick it up this evening? No. Okay, so Judy's saying there is no trouble, Sal, just saying there were varying opinions years ago. Yes, about coffee. Yeah, I quite agree. There have always been varying opinions over margarine versus butter and milk versus, who knows what. Oh, soy. How about soy? How many years did we think soy was good for you, and now they're telling you it isn't? So, just be aware. But thank you, Nana. I appreciate the heads up on the talcum powder. I'll do a bit of research in that. There's no such thing as a broken family. A family is a family. And it is not determined by marriage certificates, divorce papers, and adoption documents. Families are made in the heart. The only time family becomes null is when those ties in the heart are cut. If you cut those ties, those people are not your family. If you make those ties, those people are your family. And if you hate those ties, those people will still be in your family because whatever you hate will always be with you. Wow. How about that one? Whatever you hate will always be with you. If ever you want to get something out of your mind, stop being angry about it. Stop hating it. Wish it love. You know what I mean? And let it go. One of the things I've been doing every night when I go to bed is I actually go to bed and say, I am praying for the right person to buy my house that will enjoy it as much as I have, and that there will be a clean sale and all will be well. It's that's what I want to have happen. You see, I have to be in a mindset of the house actually selling, not that I want to hold on to it. I know that my mind needs to be in the sales. Nana's saying we were never to say hate in our house. Dad had been in the war, and he said we had no idea what hate was. Yeah. Jody, you understand, I know that I need to have my mind in a selling vibration, not in a holding on vibration. And the same way as when I was in the trailer today, I I kept saying to myself, what else would the new owner like in here? Not I'm so sad to see this. I found, what I found? Hi, Roseanne. I found so many notes that people had written to me. Actually, those I should have brought out. But over the years, people had written me so many notes to thank me for what I had done in their lives. And those were quite moving. I probably won't be able to read them to you because I will just cry. And that's what I found I started to do when I read them, because I read them and I remembered the names of the people. And for a short time in my life and theirs, our paths crossed, and it was beautiful. Some people believe holding on and hanging in there are signs of great strength. However, there are times when it takes much more strength to know when to let go and then do it. I I wanted to share a story with you that Jody has said that it's okay for me to discuss. Jody's father-in-law, correct me where I'm wrong in this story, please, Jody. Jody's father-in-law is suffering from Alzheimer's, and he's still living at home with his wife, and I think he's living with Lionel's sister, if I got this right. But what is happening is he's, needing to ask questions like, where is the bathroom? And, what side of the bed am I meant to sleep on? And then, you know what I mean? It's like all those sort of questions. Now, it's terribly difficult on number of levels. Number one, it must be terribly difficult for Lionel because they're close by. It's your sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Your sister-in-law, does that make Lionel's sister? And brother-in-law, that's another one. They don't live. How can they have both together? I got to think about that one. You have to help me with that one. Oh, yes. Okay, so it's Lionel's brother, that's what I thought, and his wife, yes. So yes, you're right. It is your sister-in-law by marriage, yep, and it's your brother-in-law. Got it. Okay. So I had to sort of get my mind around that one. So first of all, it must be so difficult for Lionel. And one of the things I remember when my mom started to lose it was, my mom was in Africa with my brother. And my sister was forever saying what my brother should be doing. And I said, until you get in on an airplane and go there and go and help him, you have no right to say what he should or should not be doing. How many of you agree with me? It's like it's so easy to be that external person that apparently knows it all, but you're not the one with the responsibility. You're not the one with the cost. You're not the one, with all these things. And I kept saying to my sister, you need to trust that our brother is not an idiot and that he's doing the best he can. And unless you're paying all the freight here, I think you need to keep your mouth shut and be grateful to him for what he is doing. Because I am, So, I think part of letting go is that you need to be able to do that. And Anna's saying, I spent 4 years helping my stepmom and others in a locked nursing home. Yes. It's a very trying time. And the thing I was going to say, Jody, and Lionel, if he happens to be listening, is the most difficult decision that your sister-in-law and brother-in-law has to make is when to put her into care. One of the things that I heard the research on it is that caring for an Alzheimer's patient causes more harm to the caregiver than the actual person with Alzheimer's. I don't know if you are aware of that. And so if you love the sister and brother-in-law, whatever the relationships are, then you might want to give some more support to them emotionally rather than have all of, have so much concern for, I'm not saying don't care for your father, because obviously that isn't true. But what I'm saying is that it didn't for you. It didn't what, Nana? Just help me understand. Didn't cause you more stress than the person that was having it. But that's, Nana, as in all things, you are different, right? I notice that whenever I say 1 and 1 makes 2, you nearly always disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm just telling you the research says that 9 times out of 10, that the amount of harm done to the caregiver is greater than to the person that you're looking after. That's just the research that I did. So one of the things that I would say, Jody and Lionel, if he's listening, is really start to think about how to help them start doing one step at a time to get him into care. Right? Because if he's starting to ask where the bathroom is, what side of the bed do I sleep, and things like that, these are pretty good indicators that, hello, let's get out of Disneyland now and let's start talking some more reality. And sometimes it takes a lot of time to get into care. And so if he's not already on a list, he's probably needs to be pretty darn soon. Yes, you're saying she was already in care. Yes, and therefore, that's a whole different scenario. That's the whole point that the research said, that most people wait too long to get them into care. And by the way, the other thing the research said, which I found really interesting, was that in most cases, the care they got was better than the care they would have had at home, because the people dealing with them understood the disease, understood their needs in a different way, which I thought was interesting. Yes, it does take a great deal of time. And so the time, needs to be, at least if his name comes up and he has the choice, then you can say no, but at least he's on the list, right? And so if you, that's what I'm saying. All right. So Erin is saying, I didn't see that being true about the research. My grandmother's Alzheimer's and my mom, and I used to take care of her when I was younger. As much as we loved her, it was very taxing emotionally. Yes, and that's what they said, Erin, is that the amount of stress it puts on the caregivers is exponentially worse than the amount of stress in putting somebody with the disease into care. All right, so yes, and Nana's saying that Dad watched her mom, when they were at home, the same as Jody's family is doing. Smart to be on the list before it gets to a critical point and no placement is available. Well done, Jody. That's what I want Lionel to understand. All right, and Nana was saying that she was at the nursing home for 4 hours a day. So you were helping, you basically gave the nursing side of it over to care, and then you continue to supply the emotional needs. I think that's wonderful, Nana, that you did that. And I am certain that part of you goes, who's going to be there for you, right? If that happens to you. And, that's the other thing I think we all need to be aware of, all right, which is, what do you want? If you got Alzheimer's tomorrow, what would you want your children to know? would you want them to try and look after you for as long as possible? Because, as Jody was saying, that her father is now, her father-in-law is accusing her mother-in-law of stealing from him, which is all part of the scenario of the disease. And so, then sometimes it becomes violent. And how many times are you going to forgive the violence? All right. Yes, and that's a very good point. Dan is saying the nursing staff are there for the nursing needs. The family is needed to help on the emotional side. I think that's is wonderful. All right, let's take another quote here. A star falls from the sky and into your hands, and then seeps through your veins and swims into your blood and becomes every part of you. And then you have to put it back into the sky. And it's the most beautiful thing you can ever do, is to have that you have never had. But what is yours, whether it's up in the sky or here in your hands. And one day it'll fall from the sky and hit you in the head real hard. And at that time, you won't have to put it back in the sky again. And, here's another beautiful quote, which says, last night I lost the world and gained the universe. Jody's saying, I was a caregiver for Alzheimer's patients years ago and needed to leave my nurse's aide position due to the emotional toll it took on me. Yes, Jody. Some people are better suited for that job than others. People who can dissociate, do a better job of being a caretaker, a caregiver, than somebody who is an empath. If you're an empath, it just takes too great a toll on you. I think I've told you many times about the when my mother was in care. She was in a group situation, and one of the women in her ward kept doing this all the time. And the nurses said, "Oh, I asked about it. I said, what is she doing?" She said, "We don't know." And I said, "Really?" And I kept, me, I kept watching the body language, kept watching it. And eventually I went, I think she's dealing cards. You know what I mean? She's dealing cards. That's why she keeps moving her body. It looked like this, but I'm going, that's what it looks like to me. So what I did, being who I am, is I went out and bought a pack of cards. And I unwrapped it and I took out anything, and I talked to the nursing staff and said, I think she's trying to shuffle cards and deal them. And I said, may I give her cards? I'll take it out of the cellophane so she can't do any harm or anything, but just so that we can see whether that's what she's trying to do. And they said, wow, we would never have thought of that. Yeah, go right ahead. So I unwrapped the deck of cards, took the bits out of it and everything, and then I handed it to her. And if you could have seen the look on her face, it was amazing. She just went, and then literally picked up the cards, shuffled them, and then started to deal them. And I watched her. I was there for another 4 weeks. And, the nurses sort of rolled their eyes at me a bit, because all she kept doing was to shuffle the cards and deal them. And now she had real cards that she could do it with. And so there was that part that was still functioning, that part that dealt cards. They say that one of the last things to go is the appreciation of music. And so everything that I've read so far about Alzheimer's is make sure that you keep giving them music, the music that they enjoy. In other words, if they grew up in the war years, play Vera Lynn, play those songs, those war songs, because they will remember the words, and they will still probably be able to dance to the music. They will still have that rhythm, which I find is very interesting. All right, so Roy Bennett said in the book, The Light of the Heart, he said that time doesn't heal emotional pain. You need to learn how to let go. The same as the sign on my lawn is a sign that it's time for me to let go. Does that make sense to everybody? Regardless of how it feels. The sign is up now. There is no maybe. I'm selling my home. Everybody in my street now knows I'm selling. Mind you, they've known. But you know what I mean? It's like everybody now knows it's for sale. The trailer will or will not go tomorrow. I'm a great believer that I will believe the trailer is sold when I have the money in the bank and it's no longer on my driveway. And my next problem is how do I clean underneath where it was, because that's covered in moss and all sorts of grungy things. So it's another step in the right direction. So, but I will have a lot of space on my driveway and everybody will go, wow, this is a 6-car driveway, which it is, because I have a 4-car driveway and I built another one for Yvonne and Wade, if need be. And so, I've got enough room on my pathetic little plot of land for 6 cars to park, which is awesome. Another big selling point as far as I'm concerned. You can park a trailer or 6 cars or a trailer and 5, it's pretty awesome, isn't it? If you spend your time hoping somebody will suffer the consequences for what they did to your heart, then you're allowing them to hurt you a second time in your mind. Oh, it took me the longest time to get that one. Let me say it again. If you spend your time hoping that somebody will suffer the consequences for what they did to your heart, then you are allowing them to hurt you a second time. What they did to your heart is what you did to your heart. If you opened your heart up to somebody who was not trustworthy, you probably knew it, but you didn't react to it. I would like to say that for so many of us, we say, oh, it came out of the blue, when really, when you look at it, it didn't come out of the blue at all. There were all sorts of warning signs that we chose to ignore. You must learn to let go, release the stress. You were never in control anyway. And I think that is, we were talking at lunchtime today, that one of the things I'm trying to help Lauren with at the moment is that she has got these 2 members of her, her related family, doing things that she is so against, ethically, morally, everything. But she cannot let go. And I eventually said to her this week, do you not trust God? Because I know that Lauren is God-fearing. I said, do you not trust God? Is that the problem? And she said, what? I do. And I said, no, you don't trust God. Because if you did, then you wouldn't be saying these things, because you would know I don't have to worry about it because God's got a plan. And this is God's plan. Whatever this is that's going on, it is God's plan. And so the same thing is, I don't have to worry about will the trailer sell tomorrow or not, because either it will, in which case that was God's plan, or it won't, in which case, another plan. So you don't understand what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't have to worry myself anymore. And I think that for the first time in my life, I really have stopped trying to control everything in that way. All right. So Erin says this sign is a big pink elephant yelling at everybody that you are selling your house. So now it's very obvious and very real to you, when before you were just going through the motions. Yes, and doing it slowly too. If you think about it, Erin, why did it take me a whole year? I wasn't in any hurry, apparently. But it's like, it's time now. And I will say again, I must admit, when I saw the pictures of my own home, I thought, wow, that's a nice place. I wouldn't mind that. And they only had pictures of the top half. They didn't have pictures of downstairs, and it was just like, wow, look at that. I lie. They actually had a picture looking out of my front door. And they had a picture of my front door, which, looked quite pretty as well. I was quite surprised about that. It is important that we forgive ourselves for making mistakes. We need to learn from our errors and move on. Yeah, Jody, thank you. Jody's saying it's a stunning home indeed. Well, I would never thought that my house was stunning. But I realize that somewhere in all of this, I have learned a great deal. What I've learned, for example, I think I only took 4 boxes into the garage. What I did is I took a lot of different cubies. We were talking about the cubies again at lunchtime, but I took a lot of these with me, and I literally went kitchen stuff, bedroom stuff, not sure, that goes to the garage. I think I took about 4 not sure ones to the garage, and the ones for the kitchen came into the kitchen, and they were, I really didn't think I needed to leave 6, things of baggies, Ziploc bags in there. So I took, some of them out, and you know what I mean? Those sort of things. And I just took some things out of there that they were, so many duplicates in there. I thought, no, they don't need that. I took out some napkins, some real cloth napkins and things that, are important to me. So, you look at it and go, this is all part of do I still want to hold on to these things? What will happen now that I've got the top clear, except for the studio, which is not going to get cleared up anymore. But, now that I've done that, now I'm going to start in the garage again. Do you understand? Now it's my time to move down and go, okay, now let me go through the crud that's in the garage. And then also the shed. But I think most of what's in the shed will be determined on whether I end up in another property that has a lawn or not. In which case, if I don't have a lawn, it's going to get given away or thrown away. Renew, release, let go. Yesterday has gone, and there's nothing you can do to bring it back. You can't should have done something. You can only do something. Renew yourself, release that attachment. Today is a new day. So this is what I would really recommend to those of you who have a problem letting go and moving forward. Every day I wake up, and my big goal is to downsize and sell the house. Now I've downsized, now we're on to sell the house. And I ask myself, I hope this makes sense to everybody. What is the one thing I can do to help sell my house today? Right? What is the one thing I can do? Obviously, I've handed it over to my realtor. It's about to go onto the multi, listing service thing, MLS. And so, but what can I do? All right. I can continue to go through a few things that still need some sorting out, ready for when I pack it up and go. I can also, at this stage, start looking at the possibility of movers. I know that Nana, did you send me that name, Nana, by the way? Looking at possible people that can help move me. The interesting thing again was I was talking to somebody, and I said, I'm not too worried. Do you know where you're going? No, I don't know where I'm going because I haven't sold it yet. It's really, but I am well aware of what's going on in the market. I'm well aware of, what my options are in the marketplace. I just haven't decided on anything yet because my house isn't sold. When my house sells, I want to see what is still available then. I don't want to get my heart set on this thing that, I can't buy yet because my house didn't sell. All right, so here's Erin's question. Erin, I'm glad you're asking me these sort of questions because I almost said today, I wonder if it's worthwhile to continue doing the broadcast. but I do believe that everything I'm about to go through is a life lesson. So Erin's question, how do you release the stress you're feeling when a lot of it is over things that are very important to you? Now, are you asking me, or are you asking how do you, Erin, release stress when you're feeling that a lot of it has to do with stuff that's very important to you. You see, I think everything is very important to me, but the stress isn't very important to me anymore. In other words, I have to believe, that's the way I do it, Erin. I have to believe that God has a plan. I really do believe that God knows I'm trying to sell my house in my own time and to move on with the next phase of my life. I really believe God knows that. I believe that God is setting up the right person to come and buy my house too. Now that I'm ready. And it's not somebody that's going to be put off with, the fact that it's a half duplex. They're going to go, wow, this doesn't look like a half duplex at all. It's got so much light and it's so big. And, it's not like a half duplex. And so, that's what I'm looking for, is that buyer that goes, wow, and look at all the crown molding and look at this and look at that. And wow, the kitchen, look at the appliances. I want somebody that's going to get like, oh, look at that. It's got 3 different skylights in it. That's what I keep praying for, is that person that's going to go, wow, and it's only this much? Yikes, that's a steal. Let me take it. Right? That is, or let me make sure I offer more than that to make sure I get it. So that is how I'm looking at it. The next thing, Erin, is this important to me? You bet it is, but getting stressed out about it is not going to make it better. Everything is important to you, and everything is important to me. Now, what about the fact that somebody said to me, well, what if the person that wants to buy it only gives you 3 weeks to get out? All right, how many of you would be stressed out by that? If they said, well, here's, this is what we're prepared to offer, but you've got to be gone in 3 weeks. What do you think? Would you be stressed out? You see, this is all about how do you process what you hear. Because let us remember, who has the right to say yes or no to that? Right? So, understand, I've got to agree to that. If I agree to taking the deal and being out within a very short space of time, then I actually, that's my stuff. That's on me. The stress is on me for putting myself in that position. Let me see what Nyasha said here. Mama Sal, please continue. You helped me a whole lot. My parents don't call me a child anymore. I learned how to take myself out of depression and continue to stay there. Yeah. Did you think it was possible, Nyasha? Did you think it was possible? I remember you telling me that it wasn't possible. And if you remember, I kept saying to you, when you act like an adult, they will start treating you like one. So, big hugs to you. And it's not what I did, honey. I thank you for giving me the credit, but you did it. You need to know you did the right things. Wow. Thank you, Nyasha. Nyasha saying your videos are so informative, educational, and it helps changes the way we see life in a positive way. Well, I am delighted. I really seriously thought about not doing any more broadcasts today. I have to say that. So thank you, God. All right. There are times in life when people must know when not to let go. Balloons are designed to teach small children this. Isn't that amazing? How many of you can see that we have to teach children not to let go of a balloon, to concentrate on it, right? Wow, Nyasha, thank you. She's saying, no, I did not. No one taught me how. You are a splendid teacher. You know something, Nyasha? I have to say that I just wish somebody had taught me the things I now know. All right. And that's what I wanted to do with DearMamaSal. I wanted to try and get people to understand. We had a request from Nada at lunchtime. And I thought it was actually very valid. And I'll put up a quick survey so people can give me their input on it. But what she wanted was, these are the things people say to me, and I don't know how to answer them. How many of you got, that people say things and you're going, I have no idea how to answer that, in a positive way that protects you and sets a boundary or does whatever. And I thought it actually was a very good topic. And, what I will do is I'll get your feedback on some of the things that people. Now, Jody, for example, had one that we dealt with. Yes, I know Jody's got a volume or two of that. Because what happens is that in the moment you can't think what it is I need to say because you're so shocked that they're saying something that you would never dare say to anybody. And I think that is, Jody, something you have to be aware of, which is just because you wouldn't say it doesn't mean that they won't say it. And it doesn't mean that they necessarily mean to be rude, ugly, mean, vile. They don't mean to do half those things. They just open their mouths before they think. Gail Foreman said, I just wanted to tell you that I understand if you go. It's okay if you have to leave us. It's okay if you want to stop fighting. All right, so Erin is saying, the question that I asked you was when I was asking myself on how to get rid of the stress that I'm feeling when it's about the things that are so very important to me. Erin, I wonder if you would be good enough to maybe write me an email and give me some practical, for example, give me some examples of what is happening and what those stresses are. Because, I think it's as different as the stresses that you're having. All right. And so if you could write and let me know, I can put them into a broadcast along with everybody else's. Does that make sense, Erin? Because I'd like to help you. But the basic thing, Erin, that if you want to make it really simple, let me know if you really want to make it very simple. Because, I can talk about this for months on end. And believe me, it's a subject I know really well. Because letting go was never my strong point. But if you want the really simple answer to it all, Erin, it is as simple as let go and let God. All right? I know you're going through incredible stress, about your daddy, for example. But, there's no amount of stress is going to make him better, right? Your stress is not going to make him better. I would really work very hard at how do I spend the time I may or may not have, telling him how much I love and appreciate him. I'd put my concentration on that. I would not put my concentration, how am I going to cope without him? What if this happens? What if that happens? I would just on a daily basis ask myself, what can I do to make my daddy smile today? What can I do to let him know how much I appreciate all that he did over the years? I'd be going into my memory bank and going, you remember that time when the dogs were puppies and they peed all over my bed, or something like that. You understand? Yeah. So, Erin, what I would say to you is that whatever these situations are, remind yourself, my goal is to let go and let God do what he needs to do because God knows what's going on here. I do not have to worry because worrying is about me. All right. I do not have to do anything except be in the moment and enjoy every moment I have. Okay, so Beth is saying, hi guys, just got off work and oh boy, was it a day. Found out that the store manager's been changing people's work hours and not paying employees for all the hours worked. And you're not the manager, right, Beth? Yes, her father has cancer, Nana. Okay, so well done, Beth. Right? Brilliant. You went straight out of emotion and went straight into what can I do about this? It's wrong. You know it's wrong. So you contacted your district manager and your HR department. Let it go. Good move. All right. Well done. You see, do you understand how Beth did not get caught up with, um, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? Da, 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 da. Beth just used her smart mind and went, that is wrong. And, so I need to tell the right people. Well done. I'm proud of you, Beth. It's over a year of not paying people. I think I did question that a couple of times with you, Beth. Remember? Are they asking you to do that many hours and they're not paying you overtime? I think I mentioned that to you a couple of times. All right, so well done, Beth. You're going to make a change in everybody's life by having the balls to stand up for that. All right, Isabel's saying, you are so important to us for everything you tell us, teach us, or quotes. It means so much and it is helping so much. I am where Nyasha was a couple of months ago and I'm stuck between belief and emotions. Oh, that is so uncomfortable, isn't it, Isabel? All right, so Erin is saying, currently I do whatever I can to make my daddy smile. And I'm very grateful for every conversation. Yes, there's a lot of stress around that, but right now it's not that I was referring to. Okay, good. So let me know what you're referring to so I can help you more specifically, right? I give him a memory or send a picture of every day, yeah, when I was little or something like that. Yes, just I would definitely start going back through your life and go, I don't know if you realize how important that was as a milestone in my life. You remember when it's like if you can keep telling him all the things he did that made such an impact on your life, the things that he probably didn't know had that much impact. Do you understand, Erin? And this to me is like, I am certain that you have more memories to share with him than he probably has days left on this earth. You know what I mean? It is just like we could. How, Erin, if you and I sat down and just wrote moments that were important to us. Yes, happy anniversary. Is it today, Beth? If so, I apologize. I did know it was this week. I didn't know it was today. Happy anniversary to you, honey. Yes, Erin, and that is the truth. Listen to what Erin is saying because it's so honest. She's saying, I think that's my problem. It's having a major problem right now, letting God just control it. And I don't know why, because I've never had a problem like that in my life. But you know me. Yes, you're human. Erin, welcome to our world. And being human, so every time you get caught up into the hamster wheel of it, Erin, and the stress of it, you go, shh, shh. Just rock yourself, and go, it's okay. Let go and trust God. Let God, right? Let go and let God. Trust that He knows what to do next. And it will be for the best for your daddy, not for you, but for your daddy. That's what you would want. You're not a selfish person, Erin. So you would not want what's best for you. You would want what is best for him. And I have to look at how important these things are. I look at the progress that Jody has made. For example, Jody, how much weight have you lost now? A year ago, Jody was on quite honestly, on a path to dying, is what I'd have to say. Jody, would that be fair? Everything I heard from her was, well, this is what I've got. It's getting worse. It's now all the way up to my midsection, and she was going out one way, and it was going to happen fast. 80 pounds later, she's lost. She's now able to lift her legs. How many leg lifts can you do now? Yeah, more than fair. Yeah, I know. I remember. How many leg lifts can you do on these legs that you thought you would never be able to use again? I want you, Jody, to realize what made a difference was your mentality. It didn't matter how much the doctor said to you. It didn't matter how much anybody said to you. You see, you had to believe that it was possible to get better to some degree, maybe not totally better, but a whole lot better. And so I think, Jody, that you can see that what you did is you started to live each day and do the best you could for that day. You stopped worrying about, am I going to be alive next year? You started to go, I am alive today. What can I do? All right. What exercise can I do? What creativity can I do? All right. Beth is saying, this Mother's Day, I am not going to dwell on what my mom did wrong. She was sick. But I'm going to celebrate that she gave me life and still grew. I still grew from all her mistakes. I love you, Mom, no matter what. Yes, I would give thanks for bringing me into this world so you can make a difference in ours, Beth. I would like you to do that on our behalf. I would like you to know, thank you for bringing me into the world so I can look after the staff at work and show them what good management is. I want to thank you for, and I would make a list of all sorts of things for although I may have a disease or two, but that I am still able to make a difference in the world. I'd like to thank you for that. Nash is saying, I myself have been getting caught in my emotions this week, and I think depression started to come, but I remember what you taught us and it went away. Yes, Nyasha. Get off that hamster wheel of beating up on yourself. I assure you that I had that moment between the two broadcasts where I went, I noticed that, we only have a handful of people that are coming to the broadcast now. I wonder whether I'm, should carry on. And I went, it's really important that I carry on. I don't know why, but I will find out one day. Jody's saying, you were instrumental in starting me on that path, Sal. Thank you. And thank you, Beth, as well, for the Starbucks meal prep boxes idea. I want to tell you, Beth, if you had not put up that meal prep box from that Starbucks protein box, you don't realize just giving us that visual changed my life and Jody's. I literally, I caught myself yesterday, Beth, having a quick snack. And my snack was, some grapes on one side of a meal prep box, and on the other side, I had some vegetables, grilled vegetables. And I'm going, whoever thought I would choose this for a meal? All right. It was amazing. I'm going, whoever thought? And then for dinner that night, I had a 1 cup that had half a cup of mashed potato, and the rest was all grilled vegetables that I'd mixed in. All right, Niesh is saying what happened is Dad got retired last year, Mom last week, and I am the only working member of the family in our household now, but with minimum wage, plus I'm not so well. So how do I handle this? You just know you do the best you can. It is not, you can only do the best you can. Nyasha, God knows what you're struggling with. And, do your parents have any sort of a pension plan? And Nana's saying, Erin, you're talking about your dad. How are you doing? She is talking about how she's doing. She's talking about the stress that she cannot control, Nana. That was the whole conversation she was having with us, is that she's noticing that she cannot control these things and it's causing her stress. And we totally understand that. I am sure anybody that's had a sick loved one, that there's not feeling helpless. I was thinking, Jody, Lionel, and you must feel so helpless that you cannot help the way that you would like to be able to. I am certain that through your mind goes things like, well, if we had money, we could do this, that, and the other. Well, you don't. So you can't. And God knows that. Well, yes, and if we did da, 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 then we could do, yeah, but you don't. So God knows that. And, I really do believe that, yes, feeling helpless is. Nana, did you ever feel helpless with the situation with your mum? Or was it the fact that you spent 4 hours a day there that helped you not feel helpless? I'm thinking you might want to. If he is fairly close, does Lionel need to spend more time with him? Is a question I would ask. And if so, is there a way that is possible? All right. So, Nyasha, I just need you to know it is not your responsibility to look after your parents financially when you have a physical disability. I just want to make sure that you get that straight in your mind. I'm certain that's what they hoped you would do, but you ended up being sick, so you cannot do it. All right, so Aaron is saying he's actually doing well, Nana. He just finished radiation and is going on to his third chemo session. Doctors have said that even at this aggressive state, he will not save his life, but at least he is more comfortable now. Yes, exactly. So it'll give him a bit more time. That's what they're trying for. I think that's great. All right, so Nana's saying, no, it was my stepmom, and I felt so grateful for every day. Yes, that is the whole thing. You were grateful for every day you could talk to her and be there for her. And, Erin, hear that from Nana, all right? Be grateful for every day that you can talk to your daddy. Jody's saying, yes, we're planning a visit. They are in Maine. That's what I thought. I didn't think they were close. I think that it's really important. And even, don't even think twice about it. It's like this trip needs to happen. And so let's start planning it aggressively rather than, you don't want to get caught with if only we'd gone last week type stuff. All right. All right, so Nyasha's saying that her mum's in retirement, right? But in our country, she again has to wait a year. I think all countries that happens. You retire in this year, but you only sort of get the benefits later. So I think that's quite normal. No. Mind you, it was different for me, Nyasha, because I retired way after retirement time, I think 5 years later. So somehow or other, I got paid. I was already getting paid my pension when I was still working. It was like really weird. Yvonne sorted it all out for me. She's good like that. If you truly want to be respected by the people you love, you must prove to them that you can survive without them. Wow. You see, so often in our lives, I'm thinking, Erin, that's what your daddy needs to know. That, even after all that he has done to help you, that he needs to know that when he passes, you are now adult enough, grown up enough, you understand enough to be able to carry on without him. And that he does not need to waste 1 ounce of his time on this earth worrying about whether you are going to be okay, Erin, because the answer is you bet. And you might say to him, remember how scared you were about letting me go and live in my assisted living situation. And I know how scared you were, but look at how well I've done. Even with all the things that went wrong, I am still able to look after myself. And I have people around me, new friends that care, and new friends that will help me when I need to. By the way, Erin, I haven't heard anything about your friend in Texas. Is that still a go? Miasha's saying, well, they say they don't expect anything, but being the only child between them both, I'm feeling guilty. I often offer to pay my internet bill. They said no because of my wage, but I do still feel it should be my responsibility. Yes, good for you. I think that's being very responsible. And, you can even say that, this was okay when they were working. But now that they are not, you still think that you should pay for your internet. Now, can you afford to pay for your internet? And I would also, I think it's okay for you to do your best, Niasha, but what I'm saying to you is you do not need to feel guilty. God had a plan for you, and, you are living God's plan at the moment. So you don't need to feel guilty. You just need to do the best you can. Makes sense, honey. And I am certain that it would be, a lot easier on your family if they'd had 5 children and all the children were chipping in money to help them right now. Well, they didn't have 5 children. It's just you. Jody is saying, that's so true, Sal. I made sure my dad knew that I was okay and was able to go on with my life after he passed. We talked about it. He cried. And he said that it lifted his worry. Yes, I think that's why it's really important for Erin to have that conversation with her daddy, Mark. And tell him, if you will, Erin, that I think of him often and how gracious he was, and how absolutely generous of spirit he was, to invite us into his house the way that he did, especially as we were gibbering wrecks when we arrived. And, I don't think I would have let me into anybody's house that day, but he did. And listen to this one. This was, if you didn't love him, this would never have happened. But you did love him. And accepting that love and everything that followed, it is part of letting go. I've said this many times before, that one of the greatest things I had to learn was that if I truly loved this person, that I need to remember that and not be upset about the fact that they left me and didn't think I was good enough anymore. You're right. This is not for me to get upset about. It took me such a long time. Okay. So you're saying that your internet cost is about half of your wage. Is that right? Yeah, Jody. Jody's tearing up tonight, and her prayers are with all who are suffering. You know something, Jody? I understand that. And I am certain they are very grateful for your prayers. And we have proven time and time again that the prayers within the group are very powerful. And I thank all of you, Nana, and all the rest of you who do respond to those prayer calls that I put out every now and then. I know that Lizzie, for example, was really so grateful. And what we didn't know was that Lizzie's operation did not go quite as well as we thought it did, as she thought it did. And they didn't tell her until later what had happened. And she has every reason to be angry and upset and all sorts of things. And yet she said that she realized that wasn't going to help. All right, so listen to this one. And Erin, this is such important that you hear this one. Erin's saying, right, that is what he told him about treatment. It said, if you want to do it, let's do it. But if you want to stop at any time and don't keep on for me, because you giving me everything I need, right? That's right. So Erin's saying to her daddy, don't keep on doing the treatment for me. Do it for you, but not for me. All right. I don't want you to suffer through the treatment if you would rather not. Well done, Erin. That is great love. All right, so Niesha's saying, Mom actually told me that she wished she had more children, but due to my medical condition, she decided not to. That was her decision, not your fault, Niesha. There's a difference in that, all right? It was her decision, not your fault. She can try and blame you, but she made the decision, not you. Erin says, right, and you always tells me that I've done so well and he's so proud of me, so that I can tell him I don't need to be scared. I know I'll always be your baby, and I want you to see who I've become. It's beautiful. That is the greatest gift you can give him. And I don't know how you do it, because I get upset just even talking about it. So that is, to my mind, you cannot give him a greater gift than that. And to thank him for all that he taught you so that you can do this. I found that one of the greatest gifts that we gave my aunt was tell her it was okay to let go. All right. She was hanging on, hanging on. And, I heard about this. She was in Africa and I was here. And I eventually said to the nursing staff, called me, because they had met me and they knew me. And they asked me, they said, what do we do to help her now? And I said, you need to tell her it's okay to let go. Give her her purse, because she never goes anywhere without her purse. But tell her that all is well in the world. And if it's time for her to go, it's okay. And she left within a week. All right, so they're working on coming back, Erin. That's interesting. Okay. All right, so Erin, let me give you a piece of advice. All right? Worry about the possibility of your friend coming back and everything falling into place later. If you need to move into a house now and you have that opportunity, that is the step that God is showing you right now. Don't hold off on that step because of a maybe over here. Am I making sense, Erin? And quite honestly, you're saying, I don't know if I want to start it all over again and add another new place. Well, I got news for you. I don't want to either, but I'm going to. And again, how do you not know that the move is a better one? All right, so Nana's saying, I had to tell my dad that my son was not coming. Oh, and he was waiting for him. Oh, and now he works at an old age home. He got over his fear. Yes, it is strange, isn't it? How many men have a problem with that reality. Okay, so Erin, Nyasha, I'm not saying that she is blaming you, but what I'm saying is if it sounds like I didn't have any more because of your illness, you understand that is something that she made a decision on. You didn't cause that. She made that decision after they found out your illness. Do you understand? So I'm just trying to make sure that you don't get blamed for that. And, it was her decision to do that. And, did they know for sure? I don't know. You might want to have that conversation with her one day. Did she know for sure that if she got pregnant again, that she would, that it would pass on something else? Because sometimes, the second child is absolutely fine, or the third child, or whatever, and so, I'd probably, if you're feeling in a really good place. Yes, and Nana's, making a very good point, right? She felt she couldn't handle anymore, right? She wanted to do the best she could for you. She didn't think that she could handle more than one child with a possible illness. So, it's like we don't know for sure what her thinking was, whether it's, she does. And she may never tell you, Nyasha, and that's okay as well. All right. It must have been it's so easy to blame yourself. Yes, Nana, I quite agree. And it really doesn't do any good. We just have to trust that God had a plan here. And so, whatever it is, that we want to blame ourselves for, blaming ourselves does not make things right. It just keeps us more and more stuck. Being angry because, these things didn't happen in our lives doesn't make our life better. It just keeps us stuck. It's when we can let go of those things, all right? If I sit here and go, I will, I said to somebody today, I have just spent the happiest 20 years of my life in this home. But I don't know whether my next 20 will be even happier. Do you understand? At the moment, as I look at my life, these were the happiest 20 years of my life that I spent here in surrounded by these walls. But I haven't lived the next 20 years yet. So what I want to say is that I every day I wake up and start again. Nyasha, I want you to be very proud of how far you have come. You have done an incredible job. Beth, to have the courage to do what you did to protect your staff was amazing. Now, you do understand, Beth, that your store manager is not going to like you for what you did. And, she already is an issue in your life in some ways, from what I've heard. So don't expect her to react well to this, because that would be in Disneyland. All right. You have just reported her for doing something that was illegal. And I don't know how seriously this will go down the line. It could cost the company a lot of money, and she could lose her job. So, you need to sort of, you've done what you can. Now step away. Let them do what they have to do. This is not on you. So be aware, Beth, if you're still with us. All right. It's really important. Thank you, Jody. So what I'm hoping that you can all see is that we are all doing our own journey of letting go, right? Nyasha's learning how to let go of depression and various other things. Jody is letting go of worrying so much about what could be coming down the pike at her, and concentrating more on what can I do to help myself today. I think when each of us understand we're all in our own journey. All right, so Nyasha's saying it sounds like it. So that's why I asked that she said she didn't want another child with my issues. I asked her how many times, what was said to her back then, and she said she can't remember. Okay, Nyasha, that could be true. On the other hand, Nyasha, she could have blocked that out. Are you aware that our minds can do that, Nyasha? That sometimes we hear news that is so bad to us that we just literally shut a door, and we can't remember what's the other side of the door. And I want you to understand it is possible that she cannot remember because what she heard was not what she wanted to hear at the time. And so she cut that out. All right. And Nana's saying, be aware that, Nana's mama gave her away because she didn't think she could cope. But Nyasha, your mother kept you. So really make sure that you thank her for that. And because it is a very important choice. And I still believe, I don't know, I've had this discussion many times with Nana, but I really do believe that somewhere at the base of it all that Nana's mum did what she thought was best for Nana. Whether Nana agrees with that or not is not something I can determine. But at some level, it is not easy for a mother to give away a child, and anybody who thinks that it is, it's like I have really spoken to quite a few people that had to make that choice, and everything I know is that I didn't hear anybody say I did it so my life would be easier. Yes, exactly, Nana. We cannot assume that we know what happened, right? But that's my experience. I've spoken to a lot of single moms that gave up their children, and when I listen to them, when I've talked to them, Nana, every one of them has said, I really felt they could have a better life if I did this. Now, is it a story they told themselves or did they really believe it? I will never know. But I do know that the pain I felt when I talked with so many was, I could feel the pain. So that's why I always say to you, Nana, don't think that she did this easily, because I don't believe she did. If she, with all due respect, Nana, if she wanted to get rid of you, she would have got rid of you beforehand, if you know what I mean, rather than wait until you were born. To actually, do the path that she took is more difficult, I think. So sometimes letting go is an act of far greater power than defending or hanging on. All right, so Erin is saying, my uncle has never seen me in hospital just because he's so afraid to see me in a hospital. He always thinks that you're more sick than I am because he's so afraid of it. Right. All right, so Nana's saying, I hate when people say that's the best you can do. It's the second best. In your mind, Nana. In your mind, it's the second best, right? But we cannot say what it is for the other person because we are not that person. Right. Sharon Adler said, forget what hurt you, but never forget what it taught you. I think, Nana, one of the things that I would have to say is the reason that you are the compassionate, caring person that you are, maybe because of the decisions that were made. Because you are so aware of the possible hurt. And so therefore yeah, good for you, Nana. That's wonderful. And when you get to the place where you can actually see that side, that is wonderful. Nyasha's saying, all right, yeah, she did. They treated me bad in the beginning, but I'm feeling so sorry for them now. That means you're healing. Well done, Nyasha. That is a very good sign. In addition to all this, my mom goes through pain from her illnesses, but I can't show it. Nyasha, the fact that you can feel compassion for your mother now tells me how far you've come along this path. Well done. We don't ask you to be perfect here, Nyasha. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Erin's saying my mom said the same thing when I asked her why she didn't have more kids. She said, I wanted all my 10-minute ditching to be focused on you because I didn't know how much help you were going to need. All right, so she wanted to have enough time to look after you the way you deserve to be looked after. I think that's amazing. All right, so Nyasha is saying, because they always treat me bad again. Yeah, you know something? That is a pattern. That's their pattern, not yours, Nyasha. You're only responsible for your behavior. So remember that, all right? Regardless of what they say, remember that you love them and you are grateful to them, and stay in that place. You can say, ouch, I don't know if you meant to hurt me, but that really did hurt. But, the truth is that I am very grateful that you have done all that you've done to help me grow up and be as self-sufficient as I can be. And I am so grateful for that. Thank you. Keep thinking the best of them. If you want to fly in the sky, you need to leave the earth. If you want to move forward, you need to let go of the past that drags you down. All right? So let's move forward with our lives. All right? I don't want to hold on to all the memories in the trailer because I don't need to. They're in my mind. I will have those memories for as long as I choose to keep them in my mind. They are not the trailer. They are not the mementos in the trailer. Good night, Nana. Sleep well, and big hug to Rick too. It's not about the trailer. It's about the memories that I associate with the trailer. And so I can let it go knowing that somebody else is going to have a nice home. In the process of letting go, you will lose many things from the past, but you will find yourself. I always thought that it was very fitting that I chose the same people to sell my house that were the people who sold it to me. How many of you can see that's karma? It's like a full circle. You sold me the house, now you get to sell it again because you know all the love that's in this house. You know how many hours I struggled, ripping all the floorboards up or all the carpet up and redoing everything. How all the dust when I redid all the windowsills. All the things that caused me so much stress. And yet I look at it today and go, it looks so much better. I'm so happy with the house that I built. And so I'm hoping that it will make the next person as happy as it has made me. And what I have learned, and this is the interesting thing, how many of you can understand I needed to learn about downsizing? I came from, with all due respect, a mansion originally, Downton Abbey type stuff, where, there was always plenty of room for everything. So it didn't matter that you held on to things. And now I look at it and go, I'm learning to do with less and less and less. And yet there's part of me that still likes my space. And that's okay. If I can afford to have my space, I will. Even if it means downsizing the way in which I have it. I am certain that the right place will show itself to me. And I don't know about you, but at this stage of my life, I'm thinking, I think I would like an already renovated kitchen. How many of you agree with me? If I look at this may be the second to last move of my life, presuming that the last move I will do is into an old age home. That I think that I would like to have a renovated kitchen this time. I don't want to spend all those years again, ripping all the place apart. But the chances are I'll end up doing it again. The only thing a person can ever really do is keep moving forward. Take that big leap forward without hesitation. Without once looking back, simply forget the past and forge towards the future. So, how many of you can understand that part of me is really concerned about what will happen to the relationship Yvonne and I have? And yet, that means that I don't trust the relationship very much. Because I should have, and really, I don't have really that much fear that we will continue our relationship because it, we're, we have it, right? And it just will be on different terms. Yes, you're saying was always compassionate, but I don't know why they did that. Insulting, putting me down, among other things. I don't know if I'm not seeing or hearing their insults anymore, but I'm not. Why is that? Because, Nyasha, you are starting to act like an adult and they are beginning to treat you with greater respect. And they may occasionally still do it, but I think you will find that the more you act like an adult and act responsible, in a responsible way, get yourself out of bed in time to go to work yourself. You don't need your parents to wake you up. You're an adult. All right. That you can, make your own lunch if you have to take lunch with you, that you are capable. You might not do it in the way that they do it, but you are capable of looking after yourself. I think that's the greatest gift you can give them at this stage, is that for the rest of the time that you're together, to prove to them that you can look after yourself. And, we will be here to help you take those steps. When I let go of what I am, I become what I may be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. So, what is it we all need to let go of this week? That is my question. All right. What are we holding on to so tightly, like a balloon, that sometimes we just need to let the balloon go? It will find its own path. Sometimes we have to let people go. Sometimes we let things go. When I've been putting things into making those choices, is it now garbage or is it now something I want to find a home for? I keep reminding myself I don't really have to make all these decisions now, right? If I'm not ready to make them now, put them in a box marked still to be sorted. And I may never need to sort them because they may end up somewhere in a dark corner, marked still to be sorted. And, long after I'm gone, Yvonne will find that box and sort it or throw it away. And, it's just like, I don't have to worry about that. So I would ask you to build your own bridge against whatever is happening to you. See all the turmoil in your life as a river and build your bridge to cross it. Your bridge is how you look after yourself, as Jody has demonstrated. Nyasha, your bridge is to be aware that you have the ability to act and behave like an adult and therefore get better behaviors from your parents. That was a bridge that you built. Well done. And does it mean that occasionally things will still sound horrible? Yeah, it will. Life's like that. Do I think that everything will go perfectly with the sale of my house? I hope so, but if it does not go perfectly, then my job is to go with that flow. And to know that for some reason there is a greater good coming. If things go wrong, then so be it. This wasn't the right person. To let go is to release the images, the emotions, the grudges, the fears, the clingings and the disappointments of the past that bind our spirit. It is time to fly, people. It is time to be light again. It is time to wake up tomorrow morning and go, wow, what am I going to do with the next 24 hours of my life? I don't want to waste my time thinking about what I can't do. I want to spend my time working on what I can do. And if you think about it, the last year has been spent literally doing what I could each day to help me get ready to move. And I'm there. I've done it. And did I do it full of stress? No, I did it one drawer at a time, one closet at a time, sometimes it was one closet a week because it was emotional for me. But I have done it. And of that, I am very proud. I definitely believe that I could now help other people do it in a different way. There's part of me that goes, I wonder if there's somebody else like me that I could help and not put them through the stress of getting rid of it all in a weekend or a week. Yes, Niesh is saying, I do set an alarm now and I do wake up early. I also pack my bag before I go to work. Would love to learn additional adult things. I wasn't taught these things. I only used to be shouted at. Have you learned how to pre-prep your meals yet, Nyasha? Because we're getting really good at that now. Like your pre-prep your lunch meals and things like that. And make sure that your meals are balanced. A little bit of fruit, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of salad or something. It's amazing when you start doing that, it becomes a habit. And one of the things that I was saying to Jody is I am amazed, and thank you, Beth. I am amazed how I do these things almost naturally now. I just, I was a bad girl this week. I wanted to confess to that one. I don't know. I don't know what actually happened, but I was in the store and I saw some caramel corn popcorn, 250 grams of it. I don't know what that is in pounds, but it's like a bag this big. Caramel corn. And I went, yes. And the voice in my head's going, you cannot take that. I went, it's caramel corn. Half of it's popcorn. Popcorn is good for me. It's fiber. Yes, but it's drizzled in caramel and peanut. Peanuts are good. They're protein, And I'm going to have it. And what I did is I actually divided it into 5 containers. I use little plastic cups, the sort of drink measure ones. And I literally did 5 servings in these things and thought I'll have one a day. I went through all 5 in one sitting. It was so good. And I waited a few hours and then I took my blood glucose and I was 9.5, I think. And I went, that's not bad considering I had a whole bag. So this isn't about being perfect. This is about doing the right things most of the time. Robert Downey Jr. said, I think that the power is the principle of moving forward as though you have the confidence to move forward. Eventually gives you the confidence when you look back and see what you've done. All right. When I look back and see what I've done, I really didn't think I could do this on my own, in my own time, in my own way. And I did. And I've learned so much this last year about how to downsize and what I want. And I still can downsize it another half. But I know I don't have to do it in a hurry because other people think so. I know I just need to do it in my own time and in my own way. I am delighted, Jody, that you saw, all the cubies and got inspired to start putting your stuff into cubies as well, because there's nothing that it makes life easier than to know, okay, I'm just going to throw all these things into this cubie and stick it here. And look at that. It just looks like it's quite neat and tidy. It is my goal, Jody, to have, when I move, is to have one wall that'll all be cubies, right? Like the wall behind me, just a solid wall of cubies. Because I know that my life is in little little squares. My whole life is in squares now. And it's amazing how much you can get into one of these. And I'm going to continue to do it. All right. So Nia's just saying her mum still cooks her breakfast and she doesn't trust her to cook it. Well, you know something, be grateful. But make sure you thank her for it. Don't ever take that for granted, Nyasha. Make sure every day that you thank her for doing that. She might not realize it, but it is her gift to you as well. All right. So what I'd like you to do is if you finish your breakfast, you go, Mum, if I haven't told you, I want you to know how much I appreciate that you get up to make me breakfast. That is so kind of you. All right, so Jody's saying it feels so satisfying to organize my things into those cubies. Yeah, it really is amazing. And by the way, Jody, as you've learned, right? I literally buy one or two of these at the local grocery store when I go grocery shopping. And most of the time I just buy one. But over the years, yeah, I bought so many of them, and they're everywhere in my house. They're in closets, out of closets, on show, not on show. And the funny thing is, you don't think you will know which QB's got what in it, but you'll be surprised how quickly the bottom left-hand one is Taylor's choice, or the third one up to the left is this one. You'll be amazed how quickly that becomes a reality. All right, Nyasha, don't hate anything or anybody. You don't like that she's always there to monitor you and watch what you do. You don't like that control. All right? Yes, Judy, they really do the job. It's amazing how much you can fit in one of those, isn't it? And again, you can put it to one side and it's neat and tidy. You don't have them in your grocery. You don't have a Safeway, Isabel? All right, now here's the trick. The reason I buy mine at the Safeway is because this in the Safeway, if you don't mind the advertising, is only $4. If I buy this in a store, it'll cost me anywhere from $8 to $10. Same thing. So I'm actually going to start sussing them out. I was saying to Jody, I'm pretty sure you could buy them on Wish a lot cheaper. I will have Jody, can you remind me to look into that, please? And see what I can find for people, because, I'm pretty sure that you can buy them, out of China directly, or, wherever, Hong Kong, wherever, at a much better price if you wanted to, cut out the middleman. The dollar store have them, but they're not as good. They're not as strong. You know what I mean? These have got quite strong cardboard inside them, so they stand up quite well. I found that the ones that I got at the dollar store, they sag a lot more easily. They're not as well built as I would say. So I will try and find that and see what I can do and share that with you if I get that information. All right, everybody. So hope you have a super weekend. I am going to now finish the last of the documentation with Yvonne and see if we can get the plate off the back of the trailer, and wish me luck that everything goes well tomorrow, that I get the money, that the trailer gets off the property, and that it is out of my immediate life and I can finish cleaning the driveway. I've already spoken to my neighbor and said, can I borrow your power washer, buddy? Once the trailer's gone, I'm going to need the power washer. And he went, sure. I went, thank you. All right, everybody. So have a great weekend. This is DearMamaSal saying, take life one day at a time. Don't try and change the world. Don't try and change everybody around you. Concentrate on being happy. All right, so Isabel's saying, yes, we will think of you and send you good vibes for not feeling too sad about the trailer. I'm sure I will cry. And that's okay. All right, you understand? That's okay. I'm saying goodbye to a lot of memories as I watch the trailer go, but I know they stay with me. It's not bye to the memories, bye to the trailer that was part of the memory. And, I just have to believe that all is well. By the way, I found there was something wrong with the trailer that I didn't know about, so I'm going to need to talk to them about that. But I literally didn't know about it until I moved something and I saw, and I'm going, it's okay. I just need to tell the truth. If it ruins the deal, so be it. But I know in my own heart that I didn't know about it until the moment that I moved something and I went, oh, that doesn't look too good. But, nothing that a bit of help won't think. Yeah, so let's think that, let's hope that the person who gets, the homeless person gets the roof over their head will be happy. Right, Nyasha, exactly. Well done. Nyasha saying, I found a new way to organize my room. I cannot buy the cubies, but I make them out of boxes. I've been making a box with a lid to put my stuff into. Yes, exactly. Make your own cubies. Well done. And Isabel saying, yes, another time I would like to know what is a trailer, because it's something you can put. Yeah, it's like a caravan is what they call it in England. It's a home on wheels, baby one. Isabel, I don't know what you call it there in Quebec. I don't know what the French word is for that. A travel trailer is what they call it. So I have this complete home on a set of wheels. and a homeless man is going to get it. It's like a tiny house, but bit smaller. It's like half a tiny house. It's a tiny, tiny house. That's it. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful time. And I will speak to you on Sunday when we will do Soul Sunday. And a teeny tiny house. A teeny weeny tiny house. Big hugs, everybody. Wish me luck on filling out the documentation. Thank goodness Yvonne's going to help me. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.